Hello everybody, and welcome back to Switch Up Storytime with me, Ash from Nottingham School of Boxing, and my son.
Joseph.
And we're reading George's Marvellous Medicine, and today we're reading chapter 3. So what's happened so far, Joe?
We've discovered that George's grandma isn't a very nice lady.
Not very nice.
And George has made a plan to make a medicine.
Okay. Spot on. And in this chapter is called...
George begins to make the medicine.
Okay, let's go.
Done.
George took an enormous saucepan out of the cupboard and placed it on the kitchen table. "George," came the shrill voice from next room. "What are you doing?"
Nothing, Grandma.
He called out. "You needn't think I can't hear you just because you closed the door. You're rattling the saucepans."
Oh, I'm just tidying the kitchen, Grandma.
Then there was silence. George had absolutely no doubts whatsoever about how he was going to make his famous medicine. He wasn't going to fool about wondering whether to put a little bit of this or a little bit of that in. He was going to put everything he could find in. There'd be no messing about, no hesitating, no wondering whether a single thing would knock the old girl sideways or not. The rule would be this: whatever he saw, whether it was runny, powdery or gooey, it went in. Nobody had ever made medicine like that before. If it didn't actually cure Grandma, then it would cause some exciting results. It would be worth watching. George decided to work his way around the various rooms one at a time and see what they had to offer. First, he would go to the bathroom. There's always lots of funny things in a bathroom. So upstairs he went, carrying the enormous two-handled saucepan before him. In the bathroom, he gazed longingly at the famous and dreaded medicine cupboard, but he didn't go near it. It was the only thing in the entire house that he was forbidden to touch. He made solemn promises to his parents about that, and he wasn't going to break them. Dangerous things in medicine cabinets, aren't they? There would be things in there, they told him, that could actually kill a person. And although he was out to give Grandma a pretty fierce mouthful, he didn't want a dead body on his hands. George put the saucepan on the floor and went to work. Number 1 was a bottle labelled Golden Gloss Hair Shampoo. He emptied it into the pan.
That ought to wash her tummy nice and clean,
he said. He took a full tube of toothpaste and squeezed the whole lot of it into one long worm.
Maybe that will brighten up those horrid brown teeth of hers,
he said. There was an aerosol can of Superfoam shaving soap belonging to his father. George loved playing with aerosols. He pressed the button and kept his finger on it until there was nothing left. A wonderful mountain of white foam built up in the saucepan. With his fingers, he scooped out the contents of a jar of vitamin-enriched face cream, and in went a small bottle of scarlet nail varnish.
If the toothpaste doesn't clean her teeth,
George said,
then this will paint them as red as roses.
Oh, red teeth. He found another jar of creamy stuff labelled hair remover. Smear it on your legs, it said, and allow to remain for 5 minutes. George tipped it all in the saucepan. There was something called Brilident for cleaning false teeth. It was white powder, and in that went too. He found another aerosol can. Nevermore Ponking deodorant spray, guaranteed to keep away unpleasant body smells for a whole day.
She could use plenty of that, George.
George said, as he sprayed the entire canful into the saucepan. That, he thought, looking around him, was about all there was from the bathroom. On his mother's dressing table in the bedroom, George found yet another aerosol can. It was called Helga's Hair Set. Hold 12 inches away from the hair and spray lightly. He squirted the whole lot into the saucepan. He did enjoy squirting aerosols. There was a bottle of perfume called Flowers of Turnips. Flowers of Turnips.
Flowers.
It smelt of old chickies.
What have all these things?
I don't know. In it went, and into went a large round box of powder. It was called pink plaster. There was a powder puff upon the top, and he threw that in as well for luck. He found a couple of lipsticks. He pulled the greasy red things out of their cases and added them to the mixture. The bedroom had nothing more to offer, so George carried the enormous saucepan downstairs again and trotted into the laundry room, where the shelves were full of all kinds of household items. The first one he took down was a large box of Super White for automatic washing machines. Dirt, it said, will disappear like magic. George didn't know whether Grandma was automatic or not, but she was certainly a dirty old woman.
So she'd better have it all,
He said, tipping in the whole box full. There was a round cardboard box labelled flea powder for dogs. Keep well away from the dog's food, it said, because if this flea powder is eaten, it will make the dog explode.
Good,
said George, pouring it all into the saucepan. He found a box of canary seed on the shelf.
Perhaps it'll make the old bird sing,
He said, and in it went. Next, George explored the box with the shoe cleaning materials, brushes and tins and dusters. Well now, he thought, Grandma's medicine is brown, so my medicine must be brown or she'll smell a rat. The way to colour it, he decided, would be with brown shoe polish. The large tin he chose was labelled dark tan. Splendid! He scooped it all out with an old spoon and plopped it in the pan. He'd stir it up later. On his way back to the kitchen, George saw a bottle of gin standing on the sideboard.
give some gin.
Now, Grandma was very fond of gin. She was allowed to have a small nip of it every evening. Now he would give her a treat. He'd pour in the whole bottle, and he did. Back in the kitchen, George put the huge saucepan on the table and went over to the cupboard that served as a larder. The shelves were bulging with bottles and jars of every sort. He chose the following and emptied them in one by one into the saucepan. Do you want to do the list?
A tin of curry powder, a tin of mustard powder, a bottle of extra hot chili sauce, a tin of black peppercorns, a bottle of horseradish sauce.
Yeah.
There,
He said aloud.
that should do it.
George,
Came the screechy voice from the next room.
who are you talking to in there? What are you up to?
Nothing, Grandma. Absolutely nothing.
He called back.
Is it time for my medicine yet?
No, Grandma. Not for about half an hour.
Well, just you see you don't forget it.
I won't, Grandma.
George answered.
I promise I won't.
Dun dun dun.
And that's the end of that chapter. So it looks like he's making his medicine, and next is animal pills. He's going to put some animal pills in it. Oh,
Oh, and don't make George's medicine at home.
very good. We've got to give you that
It'd
warning.
be very dangerous.
Yeah, can't make it at home. This is only a silly story. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time. Bye bye bye.
Goodbye.